Hello, everybody. Welcome to AFS. Yes. My name's Lars Nilsen. I program here at AFS. And when you see that trailer for Alligator, you're probably wondering, what the hell? What they're showing this movie Alligator here for? Does anybody know who wrote the film Alligator? Just say it. John Sayles wrote that freaking movie. John Sayles wrote Alligator, and the movie's great. It's a lot of fun. It's part of our Fright Club series. So anyway, that's why we're showing this giant alligator movie for all you snobs in the audience. All you snobs who show up to watch an Aristophanes adaptation. So I talked to like a lot of filmmakers who were like, I can't figure out how to get a start doing this. You know, it's like I'm trying to write the same kind of scripts that everybody else is writing, and I don't seem to be breaking through. And I think our very special guests tonight are showing us a way to do a thing, which is to like do something that nobody else is doing, nobody else even thinks is a good idea, honestly, and then come out and just nail it and just kill it by being really smart, really competent, and having a great sense of humor about the whole thing, which is what our guests have done with this film, The Wasps. Has anybody seen The Wasps before? And you're coming to watch it again. That's a great sign. But you also got a lot of people that are just kind of like, I don't know, Aristophanes adaptation, I guess, who knows? Filmed in a backyard, budget of $413, who knows how this is going to be. But I'm here to tell you this is one of the best movies of, of this 2-year period of 2025, 2026. And I would like to bring the filmmakers up to the stage. They're dressed appropriately, I think, for the evening. Jake Binstock and Parker Rouse. By the way, after all this is over, stick around because Andrew Bujalski is going to be here to ask some truly probing questions of these men. So come on up, you guys. Plus our producer.
I think it's on.
Hello. You guys are a little bit underdressed tonight, it looks like. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We'll keep this quick. Just want to say thank you for coming out and supporting our weird little movie. It means a lot that you guys are here on your Saturday night to hang out with us. My name is Andrew. I'm the producer on the movie. This is Jake and Parker. You'll be hearing more from them in the Q&A after the screening, so stick around for that.
It's true. No one thought this movie was a good idea. When we were starting it, it was just, everyone was like, what are you guys doing? But here we are, and I mean, this is the best theater in the country, and I mean, it's an amazing place to have as a home field. So to see a good-sized crowd again is just really, really touching. So thanks for being here, everyone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to me to the spirit of Austin. We played a year ago for the first time at a drive-in in the freezing cold because it was the only theater that would play us. And now we've played throughout the year and have come back to AFS for a second time. And people in Austin just embrace projects like that and let them and give them life. So that's very exciting. And I'll leave everyone with a short reading from the Odyssey to set the tone for this film. Few sons are the equals of their fathers. Most fall short. All too few surpass them.
Gotcha. This one's on.
You shouldn't expect anything too grand.
It's fascists and conspiracies all the time with you people.
I flatter myself I'm a bit of a lad, and I've learned all the tricks of the trade.
May I never practice law again.
All right, you guys like that movie? Yeah. Let us now welcome back to the stage Parker Rouse, Jake Binstock, and our very special guest moderator, Andrew Bujalski. Come on up.
Oh, hello, everybody. My name is Andrew. Sorry, I should have prepped. I should have gotten this thing off and gotten ready and gotten my toga on, but guys, that's quite a film. Can we have another hand for Jake and Barker? Do you want to do a special giveaway, or do you want to save that?
Yeah, we're raffling off a T-shirt, so you'll just do it real quick.
Hello, everybody. We have a very special, one-of-a-kind Wasps T-shirt. Beautiful back. Let's go. All right. Everyone pull out their raffle tickets if you've got any. We've got 2747444. Anybody in here? Got another one?
We have a winner. We have a winner.
2747444.
There we go.
Woo!
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Ava.
Thank you. Thank you guys for injecting a little old-fashioned drama into these proceedings here.
You have to do it at this level.
Speaking of old-fashioned drama, I want to talk about this. It's fascinating to me, and I'm often accused by my wife of what she says I'm a declinist because I think everybody's early work is their best, and then not you guys. You guys are going to have very bright futures. But there's something very, very exciting about first films, and this one is obviously not at all typical. In some ways, like, it has all the energy and excitement of seeing, people figure it out and marshal all their resources. And I often think of a kind of platonic ideal of indie filmmaking as backyard filmmaking. First of all, you guys literally did this in the backyard. Second of all, you marshaled resources in a way that is unlike almost any other first-time filmmaker I can think of. And I don't know, you tell me, maybe it's because there's two of you and you could push each other to something a little stranger than that, but I know you don't want to talk about how did this come to be, but how did this film come from two first-time filmmakers?
I mean, I definitely think early on, everyone says make a film about people your own age and your own time, and we just wanted to, something about that made us bristle. We wanted to kind of, in a very immature punk rock way, want to be like, well, we want to go the opposite direction. So that was definitely part of it. I do think that, like, both of us, making films together, watching movies, pushing each other to watch more movies and work harder is something that was always there, like, since we were 12 years old. So that's a part of it.
Yeah, we have a brotherly competitiveness, sure. So yeah, we were pushing each other to be like, well, I stayed up till 3 a.m. working. Well, I stayed up till 5 a.m. working, and and then we had our producer as well. So there was a lot of male competitive energy trying to work harder and more obsessively.
And have you been working together since you were 12?
Yeah.
And how much of that time has been spent thinking about Aristophanes? And
not much. I mean, when I first moved to Austin, I was not doing anything at all, just waiting around for work. And so there were months and months of me just being like, well, why don't I just sit on the porch, smoke weed all day, and read the entire ancient Greek canon? And that was when the first seed of, like, me reading these plays and kind of being like, well, this would be something different. I would love for people to see what I'm seeing when I'm reading these plays on my porch. But I think at that point it was something like, oh, well, maybe that'll be way down the line. And then, we had another script that we were trying to do that cost way too much money to make. And, it was like, well, now we have to go back to the drawing board and actually do a micro budget film. But the idea, again, of doing, something about kids our age just rubbed us the wrong way. So we're like, let's pick the dumbest idea possible and do a period piece.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times films come about as a response to not being able to make another film, or it's an idea that came about quickly or was written fast and had a lot of energy to it and then went, and that's kind of how this was.
And when you set out to make a period piece in the backyard, I think, I think with period pieces, it's like you can't afford to build ancient Greece, and maybe Chris Nolan can, maybe he has, but for the most part, I think when you're making a period piece, like you're not building the time, you're maybe trying to build the tunnel between now and then, and in this case, you're also, I think, also bridging not only to ancient Greece, but also to a lot of older film language, silent film language. So talk to me about how you're mustering all that and how you're finding all that in the backyard.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the idea with the silent film language was that this is literally the fourth oldest comedy known to man. So then we felt like the tools of ancient filmmaking would apply to that subject, and that kind of gave you room in terms of your production design and costume design, because actually, being in black and white just smooths out some of the rougher edges of our budget. And then, in terms of the backyard, we had a cool backyard anyway, and we were, like you said, knew we could fill in the gaps enough just to shoot, just to make it work or be a stagey version of ancient Greece.
And some of that slapstick style, I mean, it's synchronized with the slapstick nature of the play. I mean, there was definitely an earlier version in our heads where it was a little more grounded, a little more realistic, and then it's just a film changes at every stage, I think. And when we were shooting on day one, we're doing a first take, it's going okay, then we just say, let's turn it up a notch, and then that works, and then we look at each other and go, I think we're gonna go in this direction, and then it's just bigger, brasher, and that is sort of how that kind of like over-the-top style, I think, kind of snowballed.
And so, as the shoot is going, your ideas are developing. You're bringing new things and how different is the film we see from what you thought you were shooting on day one?
Pretty different, yeah. I mean, like Jake was saying, we imagined more naturalism, but it worked. The actors worked better at this kind of heightened tone. And then in the edit, it changed a lot. The dream sequences in color weren't written and weren't planned for the shoot. Those we found in the edit, and the footnotes weren't planned. That was found in the edit as well. So it changed a lot. And then just, everything else that comes with an edit.
And where are you finding this phenomenal cast? Is anybody here from the cast? I should ask.
Yeah, hell yeah. We got Gary in the front row. And we have Ross there waving his hand in the middle, the chorus leader.
All over the place. I mean, the casting was pretty eclectic. There was a mix of, backstage casting, and then we were reaching out to local theater companies and seeing who we could find that way.
Just as two examples, Ross came from a local Austin ecstatic dance class and had no acting experience. And Gary as well was a new actor who came from a local chorus.
That's amazing. Everybody you found, how did you know that they were up to the task of, again, not only like acting in any indie film acting is hard. Some people have a natural talent for it, some do not. First of all, you got to figure that out. Second of all, you got to figure out who's up to the task of taking on this 2,000-year-old dialogue. Or how old is this play? 2000 and what?
427 BC.
So, almost 2,500 years old.
All right, that's pretty old. Not everybody knows how to get that kind of thought in their head and language in their mouth. I understand you adapted the language, but we can talk about that as well. Tell me everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of a practical answer and an artistic answer. Like there was some casting choices that we were choosing between a couple people we liked, and then there were some where, like Procleon, the dad, we didn't see a single other actor that could even have been a backup. He was the only one, and then the three chorus leaders was literally down to, I think, 1 week before we shot. We didn't have any of them cast.
We were thinking, Parker, Andrew, we're going to have to put beards on and do it ourselves. And we were really going to do that, but it all came together. And we wanted to approach it like you would a play. We had an extensive rehearsal process. Luckily, everyone was just really excited to be a part of it. So we did have 3 weeks where we were rehearsing with the cast 5 days a week.
That's
different
incredible.
cast members on different days.
I think the short answer is it was more about if somebody had presence than if they had any ability to say the lines or acting. And so we just immediately, like Ross and Gary and other people, they came in the room and they were a personality that you wanted to see, you know, or eccentric in some way.
And I don't think some of the actors knew what they were saying a little more than others. Some of them, you know, it's like, well, he's kind of saying this. They're like, okay, if you say so. And then
Our two leads were classically trained
Yeah.
actors, and the lead, Dale Dobson, had performed Aristophanes on the stage before. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I don't want to hog too much because I'm sure there are a lot of questions out there. So I'm happy to start filling my true role here, which is to point at y'all out there.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Of course.
Why? Why that one?
I don't know. Why this play?
Yeah, I mean, what you decided you read it, but what drew you to that particular one?
I mean, definitely the characters are the main thing that are gonna draw me into anything. I mean, the script we had been working on for a long time before that was another kind of father-son intergenerational conflict. So the idea to do a play came first, and then we just kind of went back to the drawing board, and Parker and I were just reading everything we could get our hands on. And I think reading that one, it just, you know, Procleon and Anticleon Procleon especially just jumps right out.
I think too, like again, it's at this budget level, everything's a mix of practical, and at any budget level, practical and artistic, you know, thinking. So, I mean, the reason to do a play is that it's all one location. So we literally every single shot was in our backyard. There wasn't any shot in any other location. So from a practical standpoint, that felt doable, even though it was ambitious in other ways. And then this play in particular, right, we liked the father and the son, and then some of the weirdness of the old language just struck our funny bones. The things that nobody else laughs at is what we laugh at. Just when someone says a line that's completely obscured and lost to time, was funny to us.
And when you're sitting in that backyard reading that play, or when I was, like looking around and go, oh, there's the window that he escapes from. This is, it's a pretty rustic backyard. It kind of works. Maybe we could cover everything. We could thatch the roof and, seal it off. And this space might work.
Do y'all have any background in production design or that kind of physical? Because it does seem like you had 3 weeks of rehearsal. How much time did you have to build your backyard?
I think
3 months?
Yeah, the idea sort of sparked around February of that year, and we were shooting in May because our lease was ending. the following week after the shoot, and so then we were doing everything at once. We don't have a production design background at all. It was just sort of, we're building the set every Saturday. We're packing a cooler full of beer, inviting as many friends over as we can, and doing set building days. And, we're working on the script by day. When it gets dark out, we're gonna sneak into a bamboo field and saw off as much bamboo as we can, load it into Parker's pickup.
So many bamboo cuts.
And then, every morning we'll just bundle a bunch of hay until we're awake.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I think at this level, you don't. Yeah, I mean, we've made short films. We've made films, but there's so many challenges that you haven't tackled before. So you just take the stance that, okay, we're gonna do this, and we don't know how to do a lot of it, but we'll just figure it out. And so that was just how we did it.
And has your landlord seen the film?
I don't think so, because they lived in India, which is the only reason we were able to do this.
And that was
that was a saga.
The next door neighbor was friends with the landlord, and we were up on the roof stapling bundles of hay onto the shingles, and the next thing we know, we're getting a phone call. What the hell are you guys doing? So we had to go and kind of go to our neighbor. We had to write a long email to our landlord saying, we have a renter's insurance policy. We'll up our policy if that helps. And then, knocking on all the neighbors' doors saying, hey, we're nice people. Please don't ruin this.
Yeah, I think it was a picture they took of us on the roof that started the firestorm. Yeah. Put
that up on Nextdoor.
Yes, sir.
Did they take a picture of you guys when you had the dildos on set?
No, but one of the neighbors did bring his kid by. But it wasn't on dildo day. That was just pure luck. But we did hear that there was whispers. Like I think the orgy on the roof was a late in the shoot, and then some neighbors saw that. Yeah.
This was all these problems were during pre-production. I think we solved most of these issues by the time we were shooting, and all the neighbors at that point were excited about it.
You got a whole nother audience in India, you know.
I keep hearing that. This is going to play great on the subcontinent.
What was the inspiration behind the music of the chorus? I'm just wondering, like, how do you decide on the vibe of that?
Well, those songs it's all in that original play. You know, at the end of every scene, it's the chorus steps in and does a song, and we wanted to really honor that and thought it was fun to think of it as a musical kind of. And that was sort of, we sent the lyrics to our composer, Tyler, who is just an incredible artist in his own right, and just gave him the sort of, we want it to be kind of the instrumentation to sort of be the instrumentation that could have existed then. And then he just kind of took it and ran with it.
Yeah, we just gave him the instruments and the lyrics, and he wrote the songs. How do you decide on the vibe? I don't know, because every decision was made so quickly and so many times. So there were a few options of songs that we decided between, or just said we like this or we don't like this, and we just wanted it to kind of match the silliness of the film.
A lot of it's instinct, I think, when you're in the moment like that.
Was there any music that was coming to you that you said, no, this isn't it, and going back to the drawing board? Or?
Well, most of his songs, I think, were like first drafts.
There were a couple.
A couple
we didn't like, but mostly we went with what
there were also more songs in the play, and he did like 6 or 7, and then he had to go away for personal reasons, and then we were trying to go to other people to see if they could fill in the gaps, and everything everyone else did just wasn't working. So we stuck with what Tyler came up with.
It's good. It's good material on it all. You also do. I'm just gonna say, because I love it so much, and I was looking at the film a little bit again today, and there's that bit where you have the 3 fellas singing, and then you cut to the background guys, and it's the same position more or less, just the guy in front is gone. It's like a very simple film language thing, but it's so unusual, and I don't know what else I've seen shot there. It's just an edit that I don't know the precedent for, and I was like, oh my God, of course you can edit a film that way, and I was excited. It's always exciting to see something new under the sun.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful cut.
We debated that. I think because we had that in mind before we ever shot, and our DP told us not to do it because it wouldn't make sense.
Oh, you were right.
Yeah. I think we thought it was cartoonish, so it would work.
So Austin's known for its indie film community and building. During the pandemic, things kind of slowed down. So now that you guys have kind of debuted your first film, what's it feel like being a part of kind of the renewal of Austin filmmaking and going back and bringing cinema back to, indie filmmaking and that spirit of just do it yourself no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, we shot this during the pandemic. So, it was interesting because that was when we started working in production, was literally March of 2020. A lot of production started here. So we kind of had an opposite journey as a lot of people were at home. We were working on sets masked up and with full COVID protocols. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I love the community here. I mean, just any night of the week I come here and I see 4 or 5 friends and we end up hanging out and talking about movies.
I think when we were making it, we were in such a bubble, we kind of felt like we were not even living in Austin, It's like you're into this sort of manic disassociative state where you're like in ancient Greece for months and months, and you're not talking to anyone or doing anything that doesn't relate to the film, and then you poke your head up from underwater, and yeah, I don't know, it is really, really cool to see now at this point in the process for sure.
One of the guys, one of our friends who worked on the film, after 2 weeks of working on it, we had to go downtown, I don't remember why, to pick something up. And he had flown in from Pennsylvania to work on it. And when we came up on I-35 and saw the skyline, he went, whoa, because he hadn't seen the city in weeks of being in Austin because we had just been at the house working on the movie.
You said you had a budget of $413. How did that get chunked up? What did y'all spend it on?
He made that up.
What was the budget? Ballpark.
$46,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
which,
spend on what?
well, the production cost, I think, $24,000, and then I think we spent about another $20 on post-production, and then just the rest has been various recuts and fees since then.
Yeah, a lot of office, back-end weirdness that you don't think about before you make a movie.
I think the set cost us a total of $700 because we chopped all the bamboo down ourselves and used spare parts and trash and hay that we raked out of an abandoned field.
5-finger discounts. Some hardware stores that won't be mentioned.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
See you in court.
Well played.
India has jurisdiction. Yes.
What was the hardest scene to film?
That's interesting.
I mean, the long take scene in the middle where he's undressing and dressing the father, and then it pans over to the chorus at the end. That was very challenging and complicated. And that was part of our rehearsal process, because we rehearsed the whole movie like a play, like you said, and then the day before, or the weekend before the shoot started, we did a dress rehearsal like a traditional play and ran through the whole movie with all the actors. And so that scene took a lot of effort.
But there's so few scenes, and there's only 7 scenes in the whole movie. So it really, I think about it more as what are the hardest shots of the movie, and it is, you know, that one-er that's like 10 minutes was very stressful, and we cut it down. It took the camera operator all day to calibrate the rig, and there are, you know, shots where you have Procleon who's inside the house sneaking out to the donkey, and then the wreath drops, and then the curtain rustles. That one took quite a few tries, especially when you're doing it at like 4 a.m. and everyone is in just overtime with their brains.
Are there, I feel like it. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask the question that I dislike most, but people always ask it. Is like, what is the low point? What is the darkest moment of the soul on set when you go, we're not going to make it? Do you have any of those?
I mean, I think night 3 or 4 because we did 5 day shoots and then 5 night shoots. So night 3 or 4, there was some serious fatigue and exhaustion, and I think I looked around at one point and it was kind of like everyone was there was a malaise, and I couldn't quite tell what was happening, you know, and that felt like a low point.
But at that night, then Linklater visits, and everyone's like, oh my God, and then everyone's awake again. But there were some points in the night shoot where Parker and I were both getting pretty fried, and there were a couple points where, you know, I would look at him or he would look at me and go, I need like 20 minutes. Can you just take the wheel, and, you know, you be the one that's talking to everyone while I kind of sit in the corner and am the quiet director. And we traded that off a couple times, but not a whole lot.
And maybe I was going to circle back to where I started, because co-directing is, you know, it's a challenging thing. It's often done by brothers. I guess you guys have known each other since you were 12 and known yourselves since before that. Or maybe you have yet to know yourselves. That's later in life. But
that's what your films are about.
I assure you, I'm working on it. I haven't gotten very far. But nonetheless, it is a challenge to be a director, to be the person who people look to is hard enough, and it's to try to share that with somebody can be a very complicated thing. But I think you guys have to know going into it exactly what that relationship is and how it's going to work and who's going to be which part of the brain. But how much did you know that beforehand? How much were you figuring out how to do that in real time?
Kind of had been the same since we were 12. I mean, it wasn't like I don't think we're really like the co-directors who one of them does this, one of them mostly is that. I think we definitely have things I'm more interested in or Parker's more interested in, but it really is us making every single decision together every step of the way. We're writing it in the writing, we're storyboarding it together, we're giving notes to the actors together. And
by the time we shot, anyone could have asked us any question, we would have given the same answer, and that happened a few times.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's good. Yes.
What's the process? So I heard you played this at a drive-in recently, or last year or so. What's been the process of getting it out there, and also how did Rick Linklater get involved?
Yeah, well, we worked for Rick and have been friends with him for a few years. I was an intern at his office at Austin Studios, and then Jake and I worked at his ranch making large-scale mosaics, which is basically what he spends most of his time doing, is making these giant mosaics with the largest laser owned by an individual in the state of Texas.
Yeah, we had been working for him for a year or so, just kind of working on our script, working up the nerve to slide something to him. And we had passed him a script before the Wasps. That was the one we were doing before the original script. And he agreed to be the executive producer on that one and help us in any way we could, but we just couldn't get the money together. So we went back to him and we're like, well, what do we do now? We don't want to be trying to get this huge budget together for the next 10 years and look up and have done nothing. He goes, well, all I can really tell you is just do what I did. Get
good impression.
30, 40 grand from some whoever in your family that you can, and I don't know. And that was, then he kind of was more of like a mentor. He helped bring some money in.
Yeah, I mean,
part of that question.
There's been a few filmmakers that actually worked with us at the ranch who have since made features. So some are here, and so I think there's 3 features of people who were just art assistants for Rick that have now completed a feature. But getting it out there has been really tough.
That's the hardest part. That's the most like dark night of the soul stage of the process. Not the shoot. The shoot is ecstasy, but it is the getting it out there. That's like the real hard work.
Yeah, we just reached out to every theater in Austin. Only 2 would show it, the Violet Crown and the drive-in, the Blue Starlight drive-in. We played it there. We had a great showing at both. The Violet Crown brought us back, and then Rick heard that we were being successful with those and said, oh, you guys should play at AFS. Then that was a whole process of planning our last AFS screen a few months ago, which was sold out, and then that got us this, and we've been invited to a couple film festivals since. But basically, just tiny, hard-built relationships with individuals.
One brick at a time.
That's the only way to do it, unfortunately. But I think y'all should pat yourselves on the back for being here tonight and supporting this at the greatest theater in Austin. Woo! And there was a question earlier about Austin film community, and you guys shouted out this place specifically. I think this is a real keystone, cornerstone. It's both of those stones of the Austin filmmaking community. Is just the opportunity to come here together and watch and love all this great work from here and from beyond. I think it's so special that we have this. Was that okay? I think, am I getting a thing? I couldn't tell. Was that a thing? No. All right.
So when you were editing it, especially since it occurs so early in the movie, the Trojan donkey scene, how was that playing for you when you were watching like the edit, and how did it feel, to see the reaction to it?
I mean, when you're editing, it's like the first several months of the process is just like the end of the world. Like nothing's working. Yeah. And then it really is. I mean, they say, I'm not the first person to say this, it feels like the last 10 to 15% of the edit, it actually comes together and you go, oh, there it is.
I guess with the donkey, I didn't really know that was funny, but it does get a reaction when the donkey comes out. There's always a laugh right there.
Yeah, I think we thought it was silly, but not like a laugh out loud moment. But yeah, people laugh every time.
It feels good when people laugh at your movie.
I can't tell if that's the signal.
No, I'll say one more.
That's the signal.
Thank you guys so much
for coming.
Thanks.
Seriously, thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, guys.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there was kind of obvious danger here. So that's a really, you don't really.
Great Q&A. I think that might be the best one yet, honestly. Yeah, that was great.
Hey, everybody, good to see you. Yes, holy shit, thank you so much for coming. That was so good. Thank you. That was really, really like unlike anything that I've ever seen, and so funny. Like I wanted to ask this question in the Q&A, but I think you're partially blinded. I was in it.
We can't see anything.
I figured. But there's a moment where in that one he walks out and you guys track by the car. And in any other movie, like he would have blocked the nudity with the pillar. But the camera goes right by the pillar, and then he's just fully naked for the next like 5 minutes. And I laughed out loud at that moment because I was so prepared to not see that.
It's funny
Did
because
you do that on purpose?
It's like a Simpsons movie. I don't think we came up. It was an accident, but when we were watching at the monitor, I kind of remember going, like, and you're not the first person who said that is brilliant.
Yeah, it's like a gasp moment where I was like, oh my God.
It was funny to us, so it's like, and we're gonna keep it if it's funny to us.
Because you guys, man, talk about a singular vision. That was really wild.
Thank you, Ben.